All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the war, the information war. I'm DLAKE for PREZ. David Lake reporting for themediaspeaks.com. I'm joined this evening by a very special guest. This is actually the second time that we've had him on the Media Speaks live show, Augustus Sol Invictus. Augustus, how are you?
I'm doing well, David. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for being on the show. We're going to talk to you today. Augustus is the Libertarian Candidate for United States Senate in Florida. You're seeking Marco Rubio's seat, isn't that right?
That is correct. He's running for president, so his seat is kind of a free-for-all right now.
Now, can he go back to the seat if he doesn't win president? I thought he just totally gave it up, and that's one of the things that he's running on, the fact that he can't go back.
Right. I think you're right about that, and I think if he tried to go back now, he'd be laughed out. He's kind of already made the commitment, so there's no return from that.
And do you think that may be why that he's been missing a lot of votes and stuff? I mean, even Donald Trump has called him out on his poor attendance record, and how do you feel about that?
Well, I think you've got to make a trade-off when you're running for president. I know there's certainly a trade-off when you're running for Senate, so I can only imagine that the presidency is at least 50 times as hard as that.
All right, we last interviewed you on the Media Speaks back on August 29th, and but I believe it was October 5th, the beginning of this month. You were on the Drudge Report, in fact, Augustus. I check the Drudge Report nearly every day, all right, and I saw senatorial candidate drinks goat's blood, or sacrifices goat, brutally sacrifices goat, and drinks its blood. And I was like, why do I have a bad feeling that's going to be Augustus Invictus? I clicked the link. It was you.
Who else?
I'm not sure if this was the original story that I came across. That was the link from Drudge Report, but if I'm sure you've been following the stories, they're all the same. I mean, do all these guys just plagiarize the original story, Augustus, or what?
Yeah, you see on that one right there, it says Brendan Farrington, AP political writer. So he's
okay.
The AP guy. That went out on the National Wire, and so a lot of news stations, they'll just pick up the original AP article and print it.
So this got picked up off the Wire. I mean, it was on the BBC, Breitbart, everywhere. I was finding, the very similar article that says that U.S. Senate admits to the candidate for Senate admits to sacrificing goat, drinking its blood. Can I just read this first paragraph?
Go
2 years ago, all right, 2 years ago, Augustus Sol Invictus, that's you, sir, walked from Central Florida to the Mojave Desert. Is that true?
That is correct. At least partially correct. I mean, people did pull over to help me and give me money.
So it might have been walking / hitchhiking, maybe.
Well, I never put my thumb out. I had a personal, imperfect rule about that, but I also had a rule that I would accept help when offered. I just wouldn't ask for it.
All right, we're also joined today by a special friend of mine, Sal Mai. And she's a yoga instructor, and she doesn't follow the news all the way, all the time, but this sounded like an interesting story to her, and I wanted to have her on to sort of bring an outsider's perspective to the story. Now, Sal, he walked to he made his way to the Mojave Desert. Okay, he never stuck his thumb out. He said that he didn't hitchhike, but he might have got some rides, and he spent a week fasting and praying. At times thinking he wouldn't survive, that he might die. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that feels pretty typical when you're fasting.
You're walking into the Mojave Desert, an intense...
I mean, especially, yeah, I mean, I can imagine, what that would feel like also, walking, fasting, and it being, a deep spiritual or prayerful experience, maybe. I can understand that.
And was there any illicit drugs involved out in that desert, Augustus? Because I think I've heard some talk about LSD, acid. Was that involved?
Not at that time, no. I mean, I've done my share of acid for sure, but No, out there in the Mojave, I was unfortunately extremely sober.
And that was part of what some people might call a ritual. Would you call it a ritual?
No, it was certainly a ritual. The entire affair was a pilgrimage out to the desert.
A pilgrimage. A pilgrimage.
Right. And so when I was out there, I was doing 7 days of praying and fasting. So the entire thing was a religious experience, but a sober one.
And in this pagan ritual to give thanks to the gods of the wilderness, when you returned home, you killed a goat and you drank its blood.
That is correct. When I got back to Florida.
And Sal, how do you feel about that part?
How did you get back to Florida?
Actually, my ex-wife and 3 of our children drove out to Arizona. After I was done in the Mojave, I walked to the Grand Canyon and went in there for a week to fast and pray as well. And then I walked down to the Kaibab Forest and did the same thing for another week. They drove out there, and then we drove to Boston because I was going to be sworn into the Massachusetts bar. And we just happened to get there the day before the ceremony. So the timing worked out divinely.
So did you sacrifice the goat? Like, did you have, like, sorry, let me rephrase that. Did something tell you, or, like, maybe, like, intuition told you to, when you got back to Florida that you were going to sacrifice a goat, or was it just something that, like, you were just like, oh, here's this goat, I'm going to sacrifice it?
How did you acquire the goat? How did you? Where did you get the goat? How did you acquire it?
From a farm. I mean, they're farm animals.
Now, okay. Now, all this comes up because crazy Adrian Wyllie, he's talking about your goat sacrifice, your eugenics. We can get into all that. Look, I got your fireside chats. Like, I've been a fan and follower of you for some time now, Augustus, and I'm on your page here. When it comes to the eugenics talks, I already know how you've cleared yourself from that. And
yeah.
Why did
he's just lying? So he knows.
So what about the brutal dismembering? Can you dismiss that claim?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you sadistically, brutally dismembering this goat, or did you just sort of slice its neck and drink its blood?
Yeah, I slashed the throat and drank the blood. This dismemberment, I don't know where that comes from, because I know the person who gave him this story, and that saw the ritual, so they know full well that is not true. I mean, Wyllie's been dishonest. He has twisted words, but this one is new. I don't know why he would just start making things up like that.
Are you thankful for him for giving you all this attention? Because you've since gone mega viral. Now, Sal, I know you have important questions, and we're going to get to those 1 second. But why did Mr. Wyllie resign from his seat on the Libertarian chair when you would think that keeping his chair would give him more influence and resources to sort of block your candidacy?
Right.
And I'm reading things like Mr. Stone from Trump's, on and off from Mr. Trump's campaign, Roger Stone, I believe. Like, he's like, oh, I have to run for Senate now to block this nut job. Is it getting that serious?
Well, we all think that Stone was the one paying Wyllie to do this. Wyllie was saying for months to everybody, look what's going to happen to the Libertarian Party of Florida when the media gets a hold of this guy Invictus. It's going to be a bloodbath, no pun intended. It's going to be just horrible for the LPF when they find out what kind of psychopath is running for Senate under our banner. So we can't let him run. And then he's the one who tells me, if you don't get out now, he tried to blackmail me, then I'm going to go to the media and tell them this story. And I said, you know, do it. Then I don't bend to blackmail. And he went and did it, and he resigned, then went to the media and burned down the house on his way out. He's the one who caused the collapse of the Libertarian Party of Florida. And now Stone's going to swoop in and save the day. Stone is a known GOP operative. Stone is known for taking down Libertarian parties, third-party organizations. He did the same thing up in New York. So everybody knows this is what Stone's about. everybody except apparently for Adrian Wyllie, unless he was being paid for it, which nobody.
And I believe Mr. Stone has since been removed, or said there was a dispute whether he was fired or he quit from the Donald Trump campaign. So maybe Trump got wise to this. Do you think maybe that was the case?
Well, that happened a month or two before all this happened.
Right. Okay.
Trump came out saying, the campaign.
Yeah, and then Stone was looking for something to do, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you run against this guy Augustus Invictus?" And he's all, "Oh, this crazy guy that drank goat's blood? Sounds like a great idea." Sal, Sal, can we get to the bottom of this goat sacrifice? Do you have any more questions on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, like, what your experience was like fasting and being on the road, and like, I was just questions about the goat, like, was it good? Like, did you ingest the goat spirit? Do you feel that, like, after doing this, like, something changed for you? Do you feel that, like you needed to go through this in life in order to, like, discover something, be something, answer something, or, like, figure something out? Yeah, and I'm just curious, like, what did you do with the goat's body afterwards? Like, did you, like, eat it? Did you cook the meat? Like, what did you do, like, afterwards? I mean, these are all questions I'm so curious about as a vegan in the yoga community. Like, and I mean, I get sacrificial concepts because we do them all the time to humans as well. So I'm just curious, like, what that was like for you. What must have that felt like for you to slice open a breathing animal's neck and, like, watch its life slowly fade away and then ingest that, and what did it taste like, and how do you feel about that now? Would you do it again?
I would not walk to the Mojave Desert again. No, probably not.
Right. Definitely not.
Going out there to do that again, I probably wouldn't need to offer an animal on Thanksgiving again. So that was probably a one-time deal. As far as being a vegan, I find that interesting because a lot of the people who are upset about this are the same people who are eating meat 3 times a day in their meal. And they don't care that, chickens and goats and all sorts of mammals are slaughtered millions a year in these meat factories at brutal processes. They go to the grocery store, they don't care where this meat came from, they don't care how these lives were taken. And then you kill one goat on your own, and it's some sort of monster.
You're some sort of masochist. It's terrible.
Right.
Well, because people, like, where I'm from, you can go hunting for elk, and so I think that is more ethical than farm factory animals, and so I am in favor for hunting, deer and, like, wild game style animals. I'm not in favor of having, like, a factory of just barnyard animals and just whatever, because you actually take the time to seek out the animal and kind of sort of, like, do, like, a mating game with the animal until you kill it. I mean, that's kind of like life in general.
And just real quick, Sal, let me interject. Haven't hunters for years, Augustus, upon killing, like, let's say they kill their first elk, like Sal was just saying, they will drink a cup of that animal's blood in a spiritual way.
Right. I don't know if they do, but...
Well, I think that's been done for a really long time.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm the one telling you. Okay,
so, well, you know.
Augustus agrees with me. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. And I've had a lot more hunters telling me that, saying, "Hey, don't worry about that. I go hunting, and we all do the same thing on our first kills." Okay. So not out of
and I hope Mr. Wyllie would acknowledge, and Mr. Grayson would also acknowledge, that every Sunday Christians eat the body of Christ and drink the blood of Christ symbolically. But what you did was symbolic. But what you did was symbolic to your pagan religion. I mean, Sal.
What?
Augustus is a pagan. He's been a pagan since age 13. Is that correct?
Well, who isn't?
That is correct.
Are we all pagans? Is Christmas
I mean,
a pagan holiday?
You know what? If you really want to be honest with yourself, then yes, we are all pagans. Yes. If we're going to be brutally honest to ourselves and to our core and to, you know, where we're from, whatever, because we don't know. It's all in theory. So then yes, I would
All right,
agree.
Sal. So would you drink the blood from an animal, a goat that you sacrificed, or that maybe Augustus sacrificed, and you were standing right next to him, or something like that?
What's the reason for sacrificing the goat?
Now, okay. How viral did the story go? How many supporters did you get? And is there a problem that a bunch of the supporters that you got are heavy metal enthusiasts, black magic rockers, white supremacists? According to Wyllie again, many of your supporters, Augustus, are known members of the neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups such as American Front, Vinelanders, and Stormfront. And he has been recruiting them into the Libertarian Party. Oh my God! Augustus! I'm a huge fan of yours. I know that you're a lawyer. I know that your answer is going to be that you've defended these people in a court of law.
I have.
So,
right.
So you're a gentleman that's about the law. Can you just briefly talk about your law school experience and how it led you to the Libertarian Party? And then also, can you describe some of your libertarian values? Not all these other values that they're trying to throw on you, and talk about your religion and get personal with you. Why should you be sitting in that United States Senate seat as a Libertarian candidate, Augustus?
All right. As far as how viral it went, which was the first question, I did an interview in London last week, and I did an interview in Australia last night. So it's gone at least to, end to end of the Western civilization. As far as the new supporters being black metal musicians and black magic rockers, that is A-okay with me. Those are my kind of folks. That's what I am, so that's wonderful. As far as the Vinelanders, the Stormfront, and American Front, I did defend American Front in court. I've defended at least 7 of the 14 people who were arrested in the FBI raid. I don't know if you've seen the most recent speech I made that was Monday night on the war on terror, but I actually addressed that case at length to explain why that was an FBI setup and why the FBI and the media are selling that to us as domestic terrorism when it's not. As far as law school and how I came to the Libertarian Party, I was actually raised as a Libertarian when I was a boy. My dad's a Libertarian. So as just going back to roots, as far as my libertarianism and why I should be in office instead of Marco Rubio, well, let's take, going back to your other question about law school also, my background academically is in international law. And Marco Rubio is a chicken hawk. And he wants America to police the world. He wants to invade every country that is a problem for America. Without any regard for American interests at all. And my position as a libertarian and as someone with a background in international law and as a reasonable human being, I want to promote a foreign policy of non-interventionalism. So that's at least one huge reason I should be elected and one huge reason I'm an improvement over Marco Rubio. The other 2 main issues of my platform, though, would be ending the drug war. As I think we've talked about before, David, I came to go to law school and to enter into politics because I was a pharmacy technician and the DEA wiped us out and my family was destitute and I was pretty upset about it. And now that I do criminal defense, most of my clients are in that same position. The third part of the platform is ending the financial crisis. So we have about $18 trillion in debt. And God forbid Bernie Sanders come to office, we will all collapse under the weight of that debt. So I'm trying to slash spending, cut government agencies, repeal laws, and basically just cut spending all around in an effort to at least make a dent in that. So those are the 3 main principles for my platform and my libertarianism.
Excellent.
Thanks, man. I think I got all the questions in there that you had asked.
No, I think you did great. And I was setting up for sound while you were talking because I wanted to play a brief clip from Fireside Chat number 2.
Okay.
Where you talk about eugenics, and you wrote a paper in college about eugenics, but then you said you basically refuted it by the end of the video or in that segment where you said it. I mean, we've all written papers in school that we might not necessarily, we might have been playing devil's advocate or whatever. You're not a eugenicist, are you?
Right. Well, a lot of my supporters.
No. Let me run down the line. Are you a eugenicist?
No, I'm not. But
are you a racist?
At the time I wrote the paper, I meant it. So a lot of people want to say, "Oh, it's just devil's advocate. He was just writing a law school paper." I mean, when I wrote it, I really thought that. But no, since my entry into law, the practice of law, and not academia, but actual, trial practice. And since my entry into day-to-day politics, that's where I began to change my mind, because there's a huge difference, an unbridgeable chasm between theory and practice when it comes to something like eugenics. So that's why I'm not a eugenicist.
Right. And is eugenics just a debunked theory, or does that still exist, and are there actual eugenicists out there?
No, I think eugenics is still a viable scientific theory. I think, we can breed horses and dogs. Why would it be any different for breeding intelligent and strong human beings? The problem, though, is who comes to power, and can we trust the government with that sort of power?
White man! Yeah. Well, if it's the white man, then that's going to be a real big problem. Sal, I put you on mute. I'm sorry. You have to find the unmute button. I see you laughing. But if you could stay on mute just while I play this short clip from Fireside Chat number 2 of Augustus Invictus, where, in fact, Augustus, I don't know if you remember this, you predicted how your adversaries or opponents would come after you. Here we go.
I have been attacked by members of my own party on the basis of my religion.
You have been attacked by members of your own party based on your religion. This is from June 1st. Okay, wonderful.
I have been attacked for my support of eugenics and my perceived hostility toward women and racial minorities. I have been attacked for declaring that I was born for a great war. These things are true, and they are not true, and they are half true. I understand the talk of paganism and warfare is frightening to the common mind, and it is for this reason that I grant you the following explanations, that your fears may be allayed, our cause strengthened.
All right, Augustus, can you address that? And can you also address that you talk a little bit differently on your Fireside Chats?
Yeah, well, as far as religion being the first attack, I had written to Adrian Wyllie months ago on the political director of the national headquarters. She suggested that was the main thing I needed to do for my campaign because Wyllie would help. The first thing he wrote back was, "You are not a real libertarian. Get out of my party and go start your own party based on your religion, because basically your religion is vile and violent." As far as sounding different, this is my toned down persona here, so my accent I'm pretty able to suppress and just talk to people. When you have an accent, nobody listens to you. They all want to know, where are you from? What other languages do you speak? Where'd you grow up? Who are your parents? Where are they from? Are you even American? Because you look Hispanic. So I get a range of questions I'd rather just not talk about. So I kind of...
Well, that's great. Look, and I'm going to free you up from all those questions, because when I read all these articles today, it's like, oh, did you know Augustus Sol Invictus means magnificent sun unconquered or whatever in Latin, and that wasn't his birth name. You know what? DLAKE for PREZ in all caps with the number 4 is not my birth name either. So so go after yourself.
What kind of radio host are you, man?
I know, man. And like, what's Little Weezy's real name, or KRS-One, or all these rappers? I mean,
these people were born that cool.
Yeah, no, they're just born that good. Just that awesome. I mean, dude, it's like we said before. I mean, when someone sees Augustus Invictus on the on the ballot, it's like, who's this guy? That's a cool name, Augustus Sol Invictus. I think I should vote for him.
Right.
Like, I mean, Grayson's kind of a cool name. Wyllie, Coyote, no one's vote. I mean, okay, that guy got 3.8% of the vote.
He got that because Charlie Crist was running in that election. And everyone in Florida hates Charlie Crist because he was a Republican. Now he's pretending to be a Democrat. Then he was an independent. Charlie Crist has no real position on anything, so no one respects him. All the Democrats were protest voting. That's how Adrian Wyllie got votes, not because anybody gave a damn about him being governor. That's a fact.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Augustus Invictus sounds like an excellent protest vote to me. I mean, your name itself. And I'm all for it. And I'm all for the way that you get fired up and talk when you do your speeches, and especially your fireside chats and other YouTube videos that you do. How many YouTube videos does Grayson have, or these other guys? And how do you feel your chances are in any kind of primary or anything like that, or any kind of general going against the who's the Democrat, or the Democrats and the Republicans that are running for that seat? What do you feel your chances are?
Yeah, there are a few Republicans and a few Democrats running. I mean, it's a wide open race. Some of the Republicans, I mean, one's a Navy SEAL who went to Harvard and Yale, for God's sake. I mean, he's a golden boy. And he's already registered. I mean, yeah.
I'm going to beat that guy.
Yeah, one's a lieutenant governor of Florida. I mean, they're huge competitors. On the Democratic side, yeah, you got Grayson, who's one of the richest members of Congress, who is a total bully and a slime ball. So, yeah, it's tough competition, but I still feel like I did months ago, that if there has ever been an election cycle where a third party stands a chance because people are so pissed off at the system and so disillusioned with both of the two-party system, it's going to be the coming election cycle. So I still feel good about the chance that we could possibly get that 33% that we need.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm going back to Wikipedia, and I did this when we interviewed you on August 29th, and glad to see you're still here. Augustus Invictus, attorney, declared candidate for Libertarian Party 2016. You're getting started really early. Oh, Debbie Wasserman Schultz declined? Good, thank you. Potential declared Alan Grayson. There he is. Are you worried about Pam or Teresa or Patrick Murphy? No.
I mean, everybody in this race is pretty much a career politician except me.
And who's the Navy SEAL? Is that Ron DeSantis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carlos Lopez Cantera is the lieutenant governor.
Okay, Lopez Cantera, yeah. Okay. Oh, right, yeah, lieutenant governor. Yeah, okay. And who's Todd Wilcox? Is he going to beat you? No.
I don't know who Todd Wilcox is. With all respect to the man, I don't know who he is. I'm sure he doesn't know who I am either, so it's not an insult, I'm sure.
It just says businessman. No, I'm sure he knows exactly who you are, because I'm sure he went to Drudge Report last week or 2 weeks ago just like everyone else did.
Yeah, he's probably like, well, that guy ain't going to win. I'm going to join this race. And
yeah, he's like, oh, the guy who drinks me versus the guy who drinks goat's blood? Oh, I got this.
How hard could it be?
yeah. It's simple, right? But I know you did this a little bit before, but can you just once again, because we have some new people dropping out and jump back in, and people coming in now, but can you just lay out your platform that you are running on, and just let me give you the stage here for a few minutes to just, give us your stump speech if you would. Would you?
I actually don't have a stump speech, and I have deliberately refused to make one. All of my speeches I write fresh, and they're always on new topics, and they're all filmed on YouTube, so I want them all to be different. The platform is pretty simple, because my platform is basically right down the official platform of the Libertarian Party, with the exception of immigration, because I'm for restricting immigration, the exception of the environment, because I'm for environmental protections, and the exception of abortion, because, well, number one, it's a federal office. Abortion has nothing to do with it. That's a states' rights issue. But number two, personally, I am against abortion on demand, of course, with certain allowed exceptions. But my three main platform issues would be ending the financial crisis. That would include getting rid of the Federal Reserve, repealing the federal income tax, slashing government agencies, repealing laws, as many as possible to end this crisis. The second biggest issue would be implementing a non-interventionist foreign policy. And we were talking about earlier, Marco Rubio is saying that America should be at war with everybody. God forbid he actually win the presidency. My job then will be to stop him from doing any of that. I don't think that we should be going to war with anyone unless it is in American interest. Lights are about to turn on. The third part of the platform would, yeah, it's magic.
Magical.
Third platform is ending the drug war. Like I said, that was my entire impetus for running for office.
Exactly. Exactly. And can you just you know, a lot of people that watch this show, we know about the war on drugs, and can you just dig a little bit deeper into that as far as like what would be maybe your first steps? I mean, just dissolve the whole, you know, DEA, but I mean, like, being that you would, let's just say you were elected to the United States Senate, you're working with all those other senators in the Senate. I mean, what kind of bills or do you think you would draft, or like, how do you think that you would approach that if, you know, that being your impetus and that being your you know, one of your most appealing things? I mean, like when I first started listening to you, like you taking on the war on drugs to end the war, and how would you do that?
My very first act would be to abolish the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Okay.
That's, I mean, first and foremost. If you get rid of
you couldn't do that alone though. You couldn't necessarily do that alone though.
Right. You
So
have.
how would you influence other members to be on board with that?
Yeah, I get asked a lot. You know, even if you do get elected, you'd be the only third-party candidate or third-party senator in the United States. So how do you ever plan to caucus with other senators? How do you plan on working with anyone? And I always say, you know, even if they wanted to work with me, the special interests that own them with the money they pay them, they won't let them work with me. But the way I see it, if I'm allowed to speak on the Senate floor, and I'm the only third-party senator in there, America's going to have to listen. And I'd like to think
every time you speak on the Senate floor, it'll be like, here he is, the Libertarian candidate.
And that puts pressure on the Republicans and the Democrats. And that's been kind of the MO of the Libertarian Party for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might not win the office, but it'll put pressure on them. But in this case, if I were to win the office, it would still put pressure on them because their constituents are going to hear what I'm saying. And they're going to say, yeah, you're right. This drug war is fucked up. We need to stop this. We need to get rid of the DEA. And that will put...
Fucking exactly. Exactly. Man, you're so smart, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, dude. I really like you. I mean, I like all your campaign and the way that you're running for Senate. I want you to have that seat, man. Forget these other guys. Who are these other idiots? They don't have cool logos and YouTube videos and all this other stuff. I mean, granted, you know, I mean, I like Donald Trump this year. My sister was on The Apprentice. I think I said that. Maybe I said that before.
No way. No, this is the first time I'm hearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, my sister was on season 5 of The Apprentice before Celebrity Apprentice. It was the last season before they went celebrity. Andrea Lake, look it up. She was on The Apprentice with Donald Trump. I got to meet Donald Trump in person at the season finale. If you go look it up, you could see my little head in the crowd in the video about the 5th row.
For you, man.
Sit next to my mom. Yeah, no thanks. But I met Donald Trump, shook his hand, met Melania, probably the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. Yep. Donald Trump, you know, I'm fully supporting him. One of the best things that I like most about him is I can go on YouTube right now, find his latest speech, his latest interview, his latest news, his latest this and that. I mean, I filter it today. Okay? I go, what's he got new today? And that's something that I like about you too, is like these other guys aren't putting out fireside chats and other stuff like that. They're not stirring the pot at all.
Well,
they're not getting their hands dirty.
Yeah.
Are you willing to get into the United States Senate and get your hands dirty following libertarian principles and policies?
Me? Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Of course I am. I'm not going into this to sell out, man.
Dude, that's why everyone should vote for you in Florida. Fucking awesome, dude. I appreciate you coming on my show so much.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, it's time to loosen up a little bit.
All right.
Stop being so tense. Tell us about your kids.
I mean, they're okay, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
well, what's the boy to girl ratio?
I got 2 boys and 2 girls.
2 boys, 2 girls. All right, perfect. I got 2 and 2. We're done. We're done, right. Dave.
Exactly. You got the perfect ratio. There's no reason to tempt fate after that.
Yeah. Okay. So you practice safe sex now, or no? So
I plead the fifth on that one.
All right. Yeah. This guy sacrifices goats, and he practices safe sex. I mean, it's a whole. The mainstream media just cannot figure you out, Augustus. That's their problem.
As I said, every time I make a speech, a liberal's head explodes.
Yeah. That's great. I love watching liberals' heads explode. Augustus, we're gonna segue into some entertainment news and just lighten things up a little bit here near the end.
All right.
Have you seen anything good in entertainment lately, or heard anything good? Because I know you're a kind of a music aficionado, and people seem to like your taste in music. Have you seen or heard anything good lately?
Yeah, actually, I've been hit up by a lot of black metal musicians. So I've been listening to a lot of black metal lately, man. Yeah, this band around here called Cult of Azazel, pretty badass.
Cult of Azazel.
I also have been speaking with Brian Werner from Vital Remains. He was actually part of that organization that built that huge Baphomet statue that they unveiled in Detroit. So I've been meeting some really cool people, man, and hearing a lot of good music lately.
Isn't that controversial, the Baphomet statue?
Oh, hugely controversial, but also
yeah. All right. What about something a little more mainstream that people might have heard of that you like? I mean, I know you like Rage Against the Machine, right? You like them, and
I do.
maybe, who else?
For the past 3 weeks or so, I haven't really had time to blow my nose. So I haven't been able to watch movies or listen to new music except for what's being sent to me. So I might be bombing and letting you down on this segment.
Okay, great. No, actually, let's just get more back into you, because you just reminded me of a bunch of stuff that I have open in my tabs.
All right.
Let me close the stuff that I've gotten to mostly, and go to some stuff. You recently, with all the viral talk around you lately, you decided to do a Reddit AMA, which is like an Ask Me Anything live. Is that right?
Wait, I'm sorry. I was reading that. When did I ever say I hate drugs?
You hate drugs?
That's what this guy says right here. How do you claim to be a Thelemite and hate drugs? Is that somebody else he's talking about? What is this?
Oh, yeah. No, I saw that earlier. Are you looking at the page that I'm on?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah. We did this AMA, and I was on there for 3 straight hours answering every single question. And then I posted an announcement saying, all right, it's 11 o'clock. I've been doing this for 3 hours. I'm done. And then all these people, all these trolls come in and start talking smack like you see here. I mean, this is – I refuse to go back and look at it, but this is absurd.
This is like after the official live cast, right?
Right. It's after.
Well, and this guy's all, oh God, what a fucking moron! How do you claim to be a Thelemite and hate drugs? Twitter account. Then he's a fascist libertarian. Back in the 90s, libertarian is like, shut the fuck. Who is this guy?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Is he Azadi? No, fuck that guy. Okay. His responses are actually surprisingly reasonable thus far. Now, what am I going to do with all this popcorn? Like, someone came to watch you get crazy and drink goat's blood, and you're like, he doesn't seem like a total. I thought he was a total nut job, but now he seems so much more rational. Says chalupa-induced stroke.
Yeah, I went in there and like actually answered questions, and people were like, "Oh, wait, he knows how to speak." Yeah, it's weird. Nobody
He
ever.
knows how to. He knows how to.
On that.
The trolls are like, he can type words. Now what do we do?
Right. Well, I think that's why everybody waited to go into the AMA. They were like, "Oh, wait, he's answering real questions. Let's wait till he's done and then go talk shit."
All right, this guy that I sometimes I've watched a couple of his videos. He's Secular Talk. He just read the report and then comments his fancy opinions about circumcising dicks or whatever. The headline is Senate candidate is a goat sacrificing white supremacist. Okay, I think we've already cleared that up fair enough and well enough. But I just wanted to read some of the comments on this guy's page in case you haven't had a chance to see this. He basically posts the same things that we already talked about, and people are saying, "Hey, man, at least he didn't fuck the goat." Now, Augustus, you did not have sex with that goat, did you?
I did not. No, and I actually talked to my little brother about it. See, this guy's talking about David Cameron. My little brother in London, and so we had a good laugh about that one. I was like, man, thank God.
David Cameron might have put his penis in a pig's mouth.
Yeah, dude, that's way beyond anything I would ever consider.
That's not your repertoire
right there, man.
That is not your MO. Now, and you're not in Skull and Bones or anything else crazy like that. I mean, your pagan religion is just fine with me, bro. I'm like, cool. You know what I mean?
I was in the OTO. It's not Skull and Bones, but, you know, secret societies abound, I guess, and everybody's got their theories on them.
All right, well, I was raised Rosicrucian, so, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff we could probably talk about, but did he boil it in mother's milk, question mark?
That is a no.
Okay, patrolling the Mojave Desert makes you want to sacrifice a goat and be a white supremacist.
That would also be a no.
Okay.
But I'd encourage anyone to walk across the country and go do that and see how they feel about it. Maybe they won't talk so much smack.
Yeah, give it a try, guy. Then you won't be typing this in your troll comments. Random Flashback says, "Wow, this guy's almost as screwed up as Ted Cruz." Are you as screwed up as Ted Cruz, or who's more screwed up?
You know, I'm not the one courting evangelicals, so I'd say Ted Cruz has me beat on that one.
Okay, you can sacrifice goats or be a white supremacist. You can't be both. You're trying too hard at that point. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think you can do both. But
he said, "Yeah, I mean, why can't you? It's America. You have freedom.
Free country, isn't it?"
Marco says, "Man, he sounded so cool and badass until the white supremacist part." See, this guy tries to like zone in on your white supremacy, which we've already proven is not the case.
Yeah. That's the thing, you know. Everybody's like, "Oh, you can't believe what you read in the news," but as soon as the phrase "white supremacist" comes up, well, everything's fucking true about it, right? So that's all. I mean, as, and then you're the monster.
And we already addressed this, right? Just because maybe someone that likes you is a white, like let's say I was a fucking Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. I'm not, but let's just say I was. If I support you and like you, does that make you the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan?
Right. Well, that's the thing, man. I've defended certain people in court, and Wyllie says I'm a neo-Nazi because of that. But I've also defended murderers in court, and he hasn't accused me of murdering anyone yet. And I've accused armed robbers in court, and he hasn't accused me of being an armed robber. So it's like just the one thing. If you
I think he attempted to get the keywords in with the goat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you type in goat and white supremacist, I'm sure there aren't many hits except for me at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Augustus Invictus, just search Augustus Invictus is a great search, but Augustus Invictus goat's blood is like a totally different search.
I'm sure it is. I don't look at these things, man. I can't.
You don't have that many hours in the day, so I'm just trying to help fill in.
Yeah, you're filling in on a couple weeks of lost news here.
Yeah, I know. I was playing catch up. I had to leave work early today. I'm like, dude, I got to go watch like 10 videos and read up a bunch about Augustus before we have him on the show.
Uh-oh.
Again, shame it. Yeah, not really.
You still there, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, did you freeze up for a second?
Yeah, cut out.
You were gonna say something. You were gonna say something. No, go ahead.
I think I was just asking if you were still there because you had kind of disappeared.
Okay. Oh, maybe it was me that froze up first. I was trying to think if I've seen or heard anything super awesome and good lately. I don't know. I guess I'm looking forward to. I don't know. Oh, Jessica Jones coming out on Netflix. I'm looking forward to that. You said last time we interviewed you that you're looking forward to Black Mass. Has that come out yet?
Oh yeah, that came out last month. It was awesome, man. It was amazing.
Saw it. The Johnny Depp movie, Black Mass?
Oh, okay. Opening night. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah? What about Star Wars? Did you buy your tickets on Monday? Online?
I didn't buy them. My girlfriend is a huge Star Wars fan, so we're going to have to go, like, opening day. I hope it's not sold out already, but no, I haven't bought it yet.
I don't know. I'm afraid it is because I saw yesterday online that resellers are selling their opening night tickets for up to $10,000, like on Craigslist and on the internet.
That's ridiculous.
People are going. I'm like, I can wait till the third day. I'll just sequester myself for like 2 days so I don't know anything about it, and then I'll go see it, right?
Yeah, I could at least spend the first day just watching all the old Star Wars and, getting ready for it.
Exactly. Like you could spend 6 days before you go see the movie.
Exactly.
One a day. All right, Augustus. Hey, I think we did pretty much a full hour there. Thank you so much for joining me today on Welcome to the War.
Yeah,
great. I just want to give you one last opportunity. If there's anything that, like, before the show you were like, I got to make sure I say this, and you didn't say it, anything like that, tell people where they can find you, anything that you want to say in closing, and just go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I religiously forget to do at all speeches and interviews is say we need money for the campaign, and I get a lot about that from my campaign team. If you go to invictusforsenate.com, you can buy T-shirts, or you can just make donations through the PayPal. We're all over the place. We got GoFundMe, we got Raise Money. Any way you can get money to us would be phenomenal. So I've done my job on that one. Otherwise, yeah, just thanks for having me on, man. It's been awesome. Thank you for being on. And let me just go real quick on my screen share to Invictus for Senate. There's his awesome logo, Invictus for United States Senate in Florida. You can watch cool videos. You can. We've got a new website coming up next week, actually.
This looks different from the last time I went on. So you have someone that's always helping you and working on the website, right?
Yeah, the website crashed last week, so this is our temporary one, and we're getting the brand new one probably next week.
Okay, and everyone can find you on Google. Everyone can find you on my personal Facebook page too, facebook.com/SecretJunkie, where I'm always promoting cool interviews and awesome shows like this with super special guests such as Mr. Invictus, Augustus Sol Invictus, running for United States Senate out of Florida, the Libertarian Candidate. Everyone vote Libertarian in Florida. Make sure this gentleman is sitting in Marco Rubio's seat. Marco Rubio, he's done with the seat.
Yeah.
I mean, and if Marco Rubio becomes president, we're going to need Augustus in his old seat so that we can, right?
That's my new campaign slogan. I'm the only one who can stop Marco Rubio.
And let's say you were elected to the Senate seat there in the Congress. I mean, do you want to say who you would kind of think maybe you would hope the president might be during your term? Given the current field?
Usually I'm reticent to talk about it because it gets me heat with the Libertarians. But the Libertarians, half of them hate me anyway, so... Yeah,
so
I would see Donald Trump in there. I like Trump. I don't care what anybody says at this point.
Okay, well, he didn't say Hillary Clinton and he didn't say Gary Johnson, but he said Donald Trump, and that was his final answer. So I don't know if that's where we should end the show, but it seems like a good enough place to me. Thanks again, buddy. Have a good night, all right?
Thank you, David. We'll see you next time, man.
Great, thanks.
Peace.